John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Flowers and chocolate are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their wide variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop, right behind Eyeglass World at 56th and O.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
This is Nick Wyman with your sports update. Number 7 ranked Nebraska basketball suffered an 80-77 loss in overtime to number 13 Purdue Tuesday night at Pinnacle Bank Arena. After trailing by as many as 22 points, the Cornhuskers rallied to overcome that deficit to force overtime. However, the Boilermakers escaped with a conference victory from Lincoln. Nebraska's offense was fueled by Rink Mass with 18 points. Nebraska fell to 21-3 on the season and plays next this Saturday against Northwestern, with tip-off set for noon Central Time and can be seen on the Big Ten Network. Nebraska softball is back in action on Thursday in Clearwater, Florida at the Shriners Children's Invitational. Huskers battle number 12 LSU to open tournament play on Thursday, February 12th, with first pitch scheduled for 9 a.m. Central Time. Game between Nebraska and LSU can be seen on ESPN2. Later that day, the Cornhuskers face number 20 Georgia, with that game scheduled to take place at 3 p.m. Central Time on ESPN+. Nebraska Athletics announced Wednesday that the Nebraska spring game will be played on Saturday, March 28th, with kickoff set for 11 a.m. The Intrasquad scrimmage at Memorial Stadium will cap off spring practice for head coach Matt Rhule's 4th Husker team. Nebraska begins spring practice with the first of 15 workouts on Saturday, February 21st. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here at 90.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Tick Weeknights. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos. We got Tristan Gomez joining me for this hour. If you guys want to join in, we'll get back to sports. Shout out to Lighthouse, though, Drew Haberman. Great community that they have over there, and they do a ton, especially for the youth. So want to give those guys their proper shout out, but we're going back into the sports world, and we'll be there for the rest of the night, all the way till midnight. It'll be here with me till 11, and then, of course, our guy, Nick Wyman, who's really been a big part of the ticket as of late, and I've been listening to his shows. He does a great job. He'll give you the entire recap from 11 to midnight. Like I said, he does a great job as well. So we keep it live 18 hours a day for that local content. And apologies, I know a lot of people were confused from that 3 to 6. Well, it would have been 3 to 5, 15-ish. A lot of people weren't as big as fans of Jim Rome show.
Oh, really?
I saw the text line. Some people were not happy. No, we love being on air, but occasionally we do have to get to staff meetings and make sure we're all on the same page there. But Tristan, before we dive into everything, how's it going, man? On a Wednesday, the weather's still nice, February 11th.
It's going really well. I mean, other than that's just heartbreak of the Husker hoops game last night.
Yep.
Everything's going pretty well, and I'm pretty excited for Husker baseball to get going on Friday. Austin Norman will be down there. And then we got a new show on Saturdays, just the Husk and Diamond Report. We'll kind of give an update on the Friday night game for both Husker baseball and Husker softball, and then just kind of give a little preview for the rest of the weekend.
Should be a lot of fun. I saw Gracie, the graphics that she made for it.
Yeah.
They look awesome. That'll be a good one. I've always said I'm not the guy for it.
Mm-hmm.
I like baseball. I try to, learn more about it, but I never played it, and I definitely never coached it. It's good to have guys that actually know the sport and have played in it to give you the better breakdowns of it. So that'll be fun, and it's nice that we have that before the season starts.
Yep.
Because we talked about it the other day. I think this year's going to be interesting. We'll see if Nebraska baseball can hit some of those expectations. But you mentioned Husker men's basketball. We'll start with there. And there's a few chaotic games. It was not just all woes for the Huskers. There was a lot of games yesterday that were some upsets. But what are your thoughts? Obviously, the Huskers lose at 80-77 in what was probably the heart attack game of the year so far. That one started 1-14. At some point in the second half, we're down by 22 points. You look up, Nebraska is all of a sudden, kind of controlling their destiny. They punch into overtime, but of course we know they just fall short.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough one. I'm going to look at it from a more optimistic point of view. One thing you appreciate about this Husker team is we've seen multiple times they have really struggled, shooting threes or things aren't going their way, and they find a way to come back. I think even just forcing it to overtime is a huge win for this team, and obviously you want to see them win. And, these past 4 games, you lose 3 of them. That is really tough to see. But I think facing the adversity now and understanding, all right, yeah, we can be down by 22 and still force this game into overtime and just be a few plays away from winning this game in overtime. As frustrating as it was, though, I think there's a lot of positive takeaways from it. But as you get later into the season, as we get into Big Ten tournament play and we get into March, these are the games where you can't start being down 14-1.
Yeah, and that's kind of we had the Husker Hoops post-game show. Shout out to everyone who joined in. And if you guys want to join in for this one, in case we weren't able to get your opinion yesterday, 402-464-5685. Love to get your guys' thoughts on the Sargent Haven text line. But it wasn't March, or it's not March yet, was kind of my point. Like, yes, this one stings, but we get more basketball. This wasn't the one that Nebraska absolutely had to have. Would have been great to have. Would have been, one of the more memorable wins so far, part of Fred Hoiberg's campaign, and in particular this team's campaign. Absolutely. But it's not the end of everything. And this team, by all means, is still a really good basketball team. And when you put into context, also the last 3 of the 4 teams were all in the top 15, the 3 that we lost. It's like, oh, okay, so we're not, just falling apart and losing to bad teams as well. They did take care of business in Piscataway versus Rutgers, and they looked good in that. Michigan came close, and you were without 2 of your leading scorers on the road, and you almost handed Michigan their second loss. Illinois, that's a tough one because I think Illinois just looked really good. At that point, I thought Illinois was a favorite for a Final Four. And then, of course, this Purdue game. The things that stick out, the rebounding's got to get better. That was the big one. The reboundings for that one, 55-60, or excuse me, not 55. That'd be insane. 54-37. Well, I guess not that much insane because there's only one less, but that is a starch difference. And then when you go to the shot attempts, Purdue had 76 as a result. 76 shots one basketball game compared to Nebraska's 59. That is a 17 shot differential, and you lost the game by 3 points. I mean, that math right there, you don't have to be a genius to figure out. You got to clean up the glass, especially when we're playing these bigger teams. And that's been Michigan, Illinois, and now Purdue are 3 losses.
Yeah. Another stat that I saw is that of those 54 rebounds, 21 of them were offensive for Purdue, and that led to 17 second chance points. So you just think even if a few of those, you just pull down a rebound, you secure it, you get a stop, that takes the points off the board for Purdue. And I mean, the optimistic side of it is you see those and you go, okay, yeah, Fred Hoiberg probably has them boxing out and doing a lot of rebounding drills in practice this week and going forward as they, continue in Big Ten play. And so I think there's, that's the things like that you go, all right, we can work on it. Is that frustrating to see? Absolutely. But that's something that's going to hopefully get better moving forward.
Yeah, we got the Big Red Captain chiming in. It says, Freddie Money and co. gave up too many offensive rebounds. Yeah, absolutely. Again, like, the casual fan, even people that don't watch basketball would have watched that game. They're like, yeah, they're not doing a very good job getting the ball back.
Yeah, Purdue misses a shot. Oh, and they get it again. Yeah, that's yeah.
But you credit Purdue. The one thing though, again, this was a double-edged sword kind of game. The positives and the negatives in it. How good was that defense? I mean, for them to take 79 shots, they were pretty ice cold in that second half, and a lot of it was, even though they're getting the offensive rebounds, Nebraska didn't quit. You'd like for them to just get the rebound. But even after they'd give it up, they'd still try and get really good contests. And then the times where they were just playing half court and they're able to get the secure rebound. I mean, that's another big part of it that led to that run was Nebraska's defense after just getting pummeled in the first half, where it felt like Purdue couldn't miss. They were getting easy looks. They were getting, an easy lob dunk. Smith was starting to find his rhythm. Lawyer was really a big part at the beginning there. In the second half, I don't know what Lenzer said. I don't know if Fred Hoiberg punched another locker, but the guys got fired up. I mean, in that second half, although, again, the rebounding stuck, that was a consistent problem. That defense was really impressive. In that first half, looking like they had no answers, to the second half, Purdue was the team that looked incredibly frustrated.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show the maturity of this Husker team, especially when you go into halftime and you're down 42-24. You allow 40 points and you're only scoring 24. That's a tough way to go into half. I'm curious what that halftime meeting looked like. Because, even at a halftime, I think it was 18:55 to go.
Yeah.
That's when they were down 22 points. And you could have just said, all right, we'll fold. Like, this is an unfortunate game, losing at home to Purdue. But they found a way to just continuously make Purdue upset. And I think that's one thing that Nebraska has as a strength is I think some teams get super comfortable, where maybe Purdue got a little comfortable yesterday.
I think they were shooting a lot of threes, which was interesting to me.
Yeah, I think they were just like,
inside.
Almost like they're like, all right, we're knocking down a few threes. We're already up 22. Let's just, let's start stat padding everyone. Let's get their buckets. You guys get your three, you get your three. And that's how it was in the Indiana game too, especially at Indiana. I think Indiana thought they had all the momentum. This is free. We're up 16. We put them away. And then Nebraska just keeps chipping away and keeps finding a way to not let their offensive, lows transition to the defensive side, which I think that's what the best teams in college basketball do.
Yeah, 100%. Like you can't get too low. You can't get too high. And I don't know what, I'm sure Painter was probably pretty upset by some of the shot selection by Purdue, but it's pretty clear that their strength was inside. And even if you could get some of the guys in foul trouble, which they did actually get rink masked, 5 fouls, and it was towards the end of regulation. But if they went inside more, we were having problems all day. You probably could have got him out of there even quicker. And knowing that we didn't have Leo Curtis that day, and obviously Oogie's going to be out with his issues, that was an area where you thought they would really go and attack Nebraska. But we got to credit Nebraska's defense a little bit again, because that sounds exactly what Nebraska's defense forces teams to do.
Yeah.
Like, we're really going to take away those passes inside. We're not going to give you baseline. So that's going to feel like the right shot, is taking those threes, because that's the shot we're going to give you. So it's a little bit of both. I thought Purdue should have been more aggressive, trying to get inside and just absorbing contact and going up. But at the same time, that's kind of how Nebraska schemes you up defensively, is they try to take that stuff away and make that open look there. Go Big Red Captain. It says punched a whiteboard at halftime. Was it a whiteboard when Fred Hoiberg came out and had his hand taped?
I think it was. Yeah, it was a whiteboard.
Okay.
Or it was a clipboard of some sort. And,
I guess a locker would be really extreme. Yeah. So I guess that makes more sense. But that being said, though, do you think Nebraska depth-wise, Is that an area to be concerned? Because Garcia is one of those guys where he's had his moments, but as of late, he got a little bit of run in that Purdue game again. Not a ton of minutes, but I think it's kind of a result of when he's in there, he wasn't turning the ball over. He wasn't being, horrendous on offense or defense, but he wasn't having enough, maybe big enough impact in that game for a game where we really needed the size. Does the depth of this team concern you, or do you think we can roll with 7 and just be fine?
I think the 7 you can roll with, interchangeably could all be starters. I mean, Braden Frager easily could be a guy that's in the starting lineup some days. And we've seen Caleb Jacobson be in the starting lineup. He was against Michigan and played unbelievable. So, I think Garcia's just been a little inconsistent, but I think, going into March, he's a guy that you're going to want to be able to play. I mean,
think so.
You can't play all these guys, 38 minutes a game every single night. So I think you hope that he can be a little bit more consistent moving forward. But from a scoring standpoint, Price just didn't have his best, game from 3. I think he was 2 for 9. And so you just think, do we even notice that, lack of play from Garcia if Price makes 2 or 3 more 3-pointers? I don't think so. And so I think it's more noticeable when Nebraska isn't shooting lights out how they usually are. But I wouldn't say that I'm super worried about this depth, because I think in college basketball, there's not a whole bunch of teams that have a whole bunch of depth as well.
Yeah, I was going to follow up with that. I was just seeing if you're going to play devil's advocate there, but no, I agree. You get to March Madness, you're going to be hard pressed to see teams that, maybe they play 8, but that 8th guy's not getting more than 10 minutes. It's very small and sparingly, and occasionally it's just for some quick matchup opportunities. But anything we missed on that game before we move on to some of the other crazy scores that happened last night?
No, I think just sticking with Husker basketball just for one little thing is there's the 4 teams that have 3 losses in the Big Ten right now. It's who do we got? Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State, and Nebraska. The best thing about that is all 3 of those teams play Michigan.
Yep.
And so let's say we just root for Michigan. We go, yeah, Michigan, you go ahead and win the Big Ten regular season. And they beat all 3 of those teams, and Nebraska takes care of business, and they win those following games or the rest of the games in this regular season. Nebraska has a shot of being that 2 seed going into the Big Ten tournament, which I think is huge, not only for seeding for a March Madness, but also just setting yourself up for success going into the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, that's good. Like, that's where the doom and gloom has to go away a little bit, because you look at where we're at in the Big Ten standings, we're still sitting
tied for second.
Yeah, we're tied for second. And yes, Michigan, I think it's a 2-game lead right now. It is a 2-game lead for those guys, but they're going to have some battles coming up ahead. We kind of got through our tough slate, not to belittle the rest of that Big Ten schedule, but nonetheless, you're absolutely right there. They're still sitting in a good spot, and I'll tell you what, that Big Ten tournament, that's going to be exciting.
That's going to be fun.
There's going to be some rematches that are going to happen, and it feels like each team's just getting a little bit better. Illinois, I know they lost to Wisconsin, but Wisconsin played great yesterday, which is one of the games I wanted to highlight. It was just really good offense from both sides. And Wisconsin was a menace on defense, just picking away. It's been Illinois' turnover problem a little bit, but it's even some of these teams like Wisconsin who have been working their way up. There's a lot of momentum in there. One more thing I forgot to mention, the Jamarcus Lawrence fall, the slip. It wasn't a fall. It was another slip. Absolutely horrible. I did see some people wanting to blame Purdue. I wasn't really buying it. Again, that's where the bias comes in there. Our guy Nick Wyman sent me this, and this is came out in the news. Quote, Nebraska Athletics is aware of fan behavior incidents at last night's men's basketball game against Purdue, including multiple instances of objects being thrown toward the team, benches, and court. We are working with the staff at PBA and law enforcement officials to investigate incidents, identify the individuals, and make the appropriate disciplinary actions. Once that process happens, it will be made public. But it was Nebraska fans, supposedly.
Yeah. Because, that's right where Purdue was huddled prior to the ball being inbounded. And then,
And you could see, I did see a video, like you can see stuff getting thrown, and it was that spot on the court. So note to the fans out there, behave yourselves.
Yeah.
What are we doing? That's a tough look for us. So everyone who wanted to blame Purdue for that and say the players dumped water, seems like it just might be our own fan base that was getting a little bit too rowdy there.
Yeah, that's just a terrible look, too. Just as a Husker fan, you see that article and you go, I was the one who was acting like an idiot and not respecting, the players, even the opposing players and coaches. And then also, I'm the reason that Jamarcus Lawrence slips and we don't even get a final shot off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one thing, like, does that shot go? I have no idea, but to not even see it go up, like, that's always the one where fans lose their minds. It's like, you didn't even get the shot at that. Like, you didn't give yourself a chance. And this time, well, the chance got taken away. It wasn't even their fault. Like, the fans just kind of took it from them. So Again, final reminder, if you're at the vault, especially if you had a few beverages, just remind yourself that you do want to represent the Huskers in all their integrity. All right. But that being said, the game I did mention, Wisconsin, they beat Illinois. It was 92-90. And Illinois, like I said, I thought it was one of the Final Four teams. I still think they're a really solid team. They fall to 20-5 on the year. They're, again, 11-3. That's their third Big Ten loss. But both teams shot incredibly well. Field goal percentage-wise, Illinois is 53% on the night, 32 for 60. And the Wisconsin Badgers, 43%. They were 33 for 76. You go to the three-point numbers, 44% for Wisconsin, 45% for Illinois. Ironically, both teams struggled on the free throw line. Well, more so Illinois. They shot 58% from the free throw line. And then the turnovers. Again, Illinois' turnover problem. They had 13 turnovers just to Wisconsin 4. And that was kind of the game decider right there. Was although Illinois was much hotter shooting, they just couldn't take care of the ball enough. In Wisconsin, it was just the 4 turnovers, doing an incredibly good job taking care of the ball. Wagler's still a menace. He had 34 points in that game. He was 12 for 23. He got to the free throw line 8 times, made 5. Who, in your mind, like without looking at the numbers and rankings in the Big Ten, where do you put like these top teams? Nebraska, Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State.
I think Michigan has established themselves as that number one. I think that's, they've proved it all season long. And even though Nebraska did lose to them, unfortunately, in Ann Arbor and had 2 guys down, and Nebraska, played to win that game. I think you have to put Michigan at the top after, the teams that they've beat so far. They've taken care of business against pretty much everyone. They beat Gonzaga pretty easily. They have Duke coming up, so that'll be a big one that we'll see where they really match up in the country. So I'd go with them. And then I still like Nebraska. I mean, the games that they've lost have all been, very well played games. I think that Illinois game that we just caught them when they were extremely hot, arguably the hottest team in the country. And so I would go them, Michigan, Nebraska. I still like Illinois, and then Purdue. I like Purdue seems still a little inconsistent to me, and you even saw it yesterday. I mean, like you think if Purdue doesn't knock down some shots in the first half and it's a little bit closer, like I think in the second half, Nebraska really takes advantage of that. And, Price maybe knocks down, a few more threes or anything like that. You can have so many what ifs about the game, but I'm still not super high on Purdue just based on other games we've watched them play.
Well, the Oregon, it was the same thing.
The Oregon game, and then Indiana, they got upset by Indiana, right. And just that. Those are the types of games that we haven't seen Nebraska have. And, Illinois also is one of those teams that I feel like you haven't seen them really just, fall apart or have a really bad performance. They lose to Wisconsin, but they still shoot lights out, and Wagler still has 34.
And Wisconsin's been hot lately.
Yeah.
I feel like Wisconsin started the year really rough, and the way they've transformed and be one of the more competitive teams in the Big Ten, like that team seems like they could be sneaky dangerous if they get like a lower seed. But yeah, I agree with you there. Like I said, I'm not taking any stock off of Husker hoops, and I'm not taking any stock after the Fighting Illini either, because I thought, when you look at the numbers, I just watched it on YouTube after I got home last night. It was an offensive showcase. I thought both teams more than looked deserving to be in the tournament, obviously, but they also looked like teams that could make some serious runs in there. But that being said, let's get to a few more games. We had number 5 Iowa State getting upset by TCU. And there's a few more in here. Also, you had number 11, North Carolina, taking a loss 66-75 versus unranked Miami. Virginia escaped with a close one. They almost fell to Florida State. It was 61-58. And then BYU versus Baylor, another close game, 99-94. There was a lot of games yesterday in the Big Ten, or not Big Ten, just over across the board in college basketball that makes you kind of uneasy about picking like real favorites right now to like make runs in the tournament. Are there any teams, and again, we don't really know what the future is going to hold here in the Big Ten or any other conferences that you have some high stock on? Not saying that they're going to win it all, but you like their odds to make a serious run.
I was super high on Iowa State, honestly, at the beginning of the year, and they were playing unbelievably well and had just one of the best offenses. Joshua Jefferson is unreal. Same with Lipsy. And then last night I got home and actually watched that game, and it just seems so, lackadaisical. Like their offense was just, had no rhythm to it. And then on the defensive side, it was like one of those games where it's just a inferior opponent in TCU that just like sticks around because Iowa State just seems like they expected to continuously win. And Iowa State has a juggernaut of a schedule going forward. It is unreal. They play, I think, all the best teams in the Big 12 going forward before the postseason.
Yep.
And so they're a team I've kind of lost my traction on. And then I still like Arizona after that loss to Kansas. I mean, I know it's easy to root for the 1 seed, but they still look unbelievable.
Yeah, and people were down on Kansas earlier in the year. That's still a very solid program. And I know the head coach spoke on that after. Like, listen, I get it, but this Arizona team's incredible. With that being said, we will throw it to break. We'll talk about the Bell Moose book a little bit on the other side, because that one obviously caught the headlines for obvious reasons. So we'll talk about all that right here. 93.7 Ticket. Harrison Arns, Tristan Gomez. We'll talk to you on the other side.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
No one's ever explained it this way. That's what we hear at Trade-Offs when you finally see how today's crop insurance tools work with your grain marketing plan, not in isolation. With hail and wind rates increasing and margins already tight, it's time to challenge how you look at crop insurance. It's time to ask better questions. It's time to call Trade-Offs. Call us at 402-858-7501 or visit gotradeoffs.com to start the conversation. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trade-Offs, ingrained in your success. No, seriously, give us a call.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new Delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney location. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high around 53. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies, calm winds, an overnight low around 33. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies return with light winds. An afternoon high near 57. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Flowers and chocolate are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their wide variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop, right behind Eyeglass World at 56th and O.
Get inspired at the 54th Annual Home and Garden Show, February 13th through the 15th at Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. $10 admission. Let the experts bring your home projects to life. Learn more at hbal.org.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevenson Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevenson Smith Construction slams expectations.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. Harrison Arens, Tristan Gomez, Ticket Weeknights. You guys welcome to join in. We're going to talk some Husker football here and a lot of the drama that has kind of unraveled over the past couple of days here. 402-464-5685. Starting Heyman text line as always. And apparently Bill Moose didn't want to hire Scott Frost. And there's a lot of stronger words attached to it with multiple parties that we kind of talked off air. That was surprising to me.
Yeah, it's a little odd to look back at this whole thing. I think we've tried so hard to like forget about it, but I do appreciate Bill Moose kind of bringing this up and giving Husker fans a little bit of an insight of what was really going on here at the University of Nebraska. Looking back at the Scott Frost hire, especially after, the little Mike Riley era after Bo Pelini, which I think was just a lot of an overcorrection, in my opinion, going from, people didn't love Bo Pelini as a person. He was just kind of angry and kind of mean, and he only got 9 wins. We wanted more. And then we went to the whole other side of the spectrum and got Mike Riley, who's just like the most stand-up guy, nicest person ever. And then you have former Nebraska quarterback Scott Frost going 13-0 at USF. I think it was almost a no-brainer to a lot of people of just, we want Scott Frost. Look what he's doing. He's going to win football games.
Former Husker too.
Exactly.
I obviously won it, so you have that emotional attachment.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool to hear Bill Moose's standpoint from it of going, it was still a little early in his career. Like, sure, great what he did at USF, but he's like going from USF, who wasn't even Power 4 at the time, to the University of Nebraska. And he wanted Chip Kelly, which I had no clue.
Yeah, I had no part about the Chip Kelly part either, which surprised me. It was a weird spot to be in, right? Because if anyone who's read the book or just the articles themselves, I know Early Break talked about it this morning. He did not want to hire Scott Frost, but it's like, boy, if I hire Scott Frost, it's going to be great until they start losing. If they start losing, it's going to be really bad for me, and I'll be fired. If I don't hire Scott Frost, even if I think it's not the right hire, that's not going to go over well, because a lot of people, the nation was saying that's the home run hire. That's a no-brainer for Nebraska. And not when I say the nation, the talking heads, the media heads that were all for it. And, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it'd be this bad. I thought it'd actually work out. And clearly I was wrong as well, but there are some interesting quotes in there. So this was the meeting when they're trying to figure out to hire Scott Frost or not. And this is in his book. This is Bill Moose. He gives some insight in that. Also some of these interviews he's had. And this is quote, as pissed off as I was that the associate AD at the time, Matt Davison, unexpectedly sat in on the meeting, I was glad he did, as it prompted me to tell his wife to stay in the room. And like many times before, her intuition proved to be invaluable. And she actually nailed it right on the head. This was after the interview, and they kind of talk about Frost. He apparently showed up in like sweatpants looked a little disheveled.
Face.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know if it's mature enough yet. It wasn't like anything damning that he did in that first one. I just think they were wondering about the maturity. And after she would go on to say, quote, he's not ready. Kendra said after closing the door that just left 2 of us in the room, too immature. And he said, yep, I agree. But if I don't pursue him with everything I've got, he ends up at Tennessee or Florida, I'm screwed. And then she said, yeah, but if you bring Nebraska's golden boy home and he falls flat on his face, you are really screwed. Remember, people have short memories. So there is kind of like, she nailed it right on the head there. And of course, Frost did, in fact, kind of fall flat on his face there, as we know the entire tenure of how that went down. But then you also had some different hires in there. As you mentioned, Chip Kelly. And one thing that stuck out to me was Pillen. He's involved in the decision-making, which I just kind of thought it was the AD's job, and he went through his filing cabinet. And of course, he works with some people, hiring agencies like, okay, give me some of the best names out there. There's a ton of those agencies that exist. But I mean, how surprised were you to realize how much more involved the hiring process was, that it's not just kind of going through the AD and the, hiring agencies. I mean, it went all the way to Pillen, which again, that just kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, super interesting from that standpoint, because I think at the time we just thought Bill Moose was making all of these
Yeah.
decisions, especially when it came to giving Scott Frost an extension. That was Ronnie Green right before the Ohio State game. Like, that was, I think Nebraska's only loss was to Colorado at the time, and they were playing Ohio State. And Bill Moose got a call from, I think, Ronnie Green going, yeah, we just extended Scott 2 more years for about $10 million, I believe. That's crazy to think that everyone thought this was Bill Moose. And we were like, oh, yeah, he's keeping Scott Frost around for even longer. We get him. But Bill Moose the whole time was like, yeah, I don't even know if this is the right decision yet. And he hasn't done enough to prove that he deserves this extension. So, yeah, it's weird. Bill Moose talks about it too, is, yeah, there were multiple people making decisions for him that he had no clue about, or he had ideas of what he wanted to do and he didn't get to make those decisions, which I think is tough for Bill Moose, knowing that he's been in this industry for so long. And I think he had an idea of how he wanted to run things and the ideas he had. And there were so many people that had their inputs on it that really just, tore Nebraska football to the ground for a few years.
Yeah. And another shocker, apparently had no interest whatsoever at the beginning.
Yeah.
Did not want to coach. He also goes on to say this one coming from Bill Moose, quote, so I sent Matt as my conduit to Scott, again, trying to figure out if he was interested. There was no interest. He was appalled with the current state of what was happening at Nebraska. I had to get through to Matt to get Scott Frost that those days are over. I'm here now. This is my roundup. I'm running the ranch. Fortunately, we were able to get a sit down in Philadelphia that nobody knew about.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Scott Frost didn't even want the job. He kind of looked at Nebraska like, this is going to be a tough battle to fix, and this could really hurt I'm assuming what he thought, right? I don't want to put words into his own head or speak his own words for him, but I think he was just looking at that program like, man, that's going to be tough to turn around there. And it kind of seems like it's, in his mind, too hard to fix, or he just didn't trust the leadership that was in the room already. Or he is surprised to hear they didn't even want to be there. Because I always remember the introductory press conference.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might have actually taken it down, like the official football. Maybe it's still there. If it is, you guys can let me know. But it had millions of views. I mean, people were almost shedding a tear. People that watched him play certainly got emotional again because there was an emotional attachment. And at the introductory press conference, it kind of sounded great. He was saying all the right things. But it was crazy to think at one point he never even wanted the job to begin with.
Yeah, we always talk about it as just the coach talk. And so obviously when you get hired to the University of Nebraska and you play at the University of Nebraska, it's got to be pretty easy and just standard to go, this is the best place on earth. This is where I want to be. But I think Bill Moose, explained it pretty well is, yeah, this wasn't the right time, for Scott Frost to be at the University of Nebraska. And I wonder if, we hear about Scott Frost not wanting the job, if he almost felt like Nebraska was begging him so much that he's like, yeah, I don't even have to really work that hard once I get here, like do all these things because they just want me.
Well,
like,
they gave him the extension.
They gave him the extension, like without even proving anything and going into Ohio State game. Like we probably should have actually watched that one first before we even thought about the extension. So I think they just gave him so much credit and just gave him, all this glory that he was like, yeah, I really don't have to do all this hard work or, everything be perfect here because you guys are obsessed with me.
Mm-hmm. And you'll give me time.
And Bill Moose, I feel like Bill Moose kind of knew that going into it too. Like, all right, he's young. Yes, he was amazing at UCF, but we can't boost his ego too big. And I think we did exactly that.
Yeah. And then obviously it worked, to the deficit of Bill Moose is, we had to obviously cost him his job and Scott Frost. And to your point, really brought Nebraska football to shambles for those years. And now we're at a point with Matt Rule, who we gave an extension before we start winning. I'm not saying that it's going to go down the same road, but I do get a little bit like, when that extension came up, I just didn't like the fact that, okay, we're giving an extension just because
that was during
Penn
the Penn
State lost.
Era. Yeah.
But it's like, is that fair? Like, do you give an extension just because
you're
Penn State's open now and you're trying to keep him? Like, because to me, if he's willing to bail, maybe he wasn't the right guy. And I'm not, saying Matt Rule's, I'm trying to pin him in a hole in a bad light or anything. Because obviously he's still here and I don't know what decision he would have made. And to be honest, it didn't seem like Penn State was actually interested in hiring him to begin with. So that extension kind of went in there. It felt like out of fear of him moving. But I'm sitting here now and I'm like, I feel like another situation where do we give it too early?
Yeah, I'm in that boat, honestly. I think he's done a good job so far.
Two bowl games, right? More than Frost has done.
More than Frost. And, like we talked about, Frost kind of put this program into shambles. Like we were nowhere near bowl games and things just were not great for Husker football whatsoever. And next year's schedule is going to be really tough, which I think makes you worry about the extension is, all right, how is Nebraska going to handle this? But yeah, I didn't love that the extension comes out of, we don't want you to leave. Like, it's not because you earned this.
Mm-hmm.
It was more, wait, we don't want you to go somewhere else. Take our money. We want you. Like, please stay here, rather than, wait, you've really earned this extension. I think that's what makes the best coaches, when you earn something and you continuously know, yeah, I'm going to earn another extension, or I'm going to get more money if I have done the work to get it, rather than them going, oh, my girlfriend's leaving me. Please don't go. Here's this money.
Yeah, it was just completely caught me off guard. And you look at next year's schedule, and that's where the extension, might hurt again. It's a really tough schedule. Everyone's probably already looked at it ahead of time already, without knowing officially what these teams' final products will look like in August. If you just look at what these teams did this previous year, it's a tough schedule. And that extension, for right or wrong reasons, just going to look worse or really good if he somehow pulls off. I think if he wins 7 games next year, people are pleasantly surprised, just kind of looking at it as of now. But next year is going to be a tough sled. And I feel like if we start getting in those losses, we're going to hear that conversation come up more and more again as well. Nebraska football being Nebraska football, given the extension way too early before they needed to.
And he also said this was a destination job too. Like, this is a spot where he wants to be at. I think if that's the case, then I think it's a good fit for right now. Let's see if this is a good fit continuously before we, go all in on this.
Well, yeah, to your point, like if he likes the fit and he thinks Nebraska is a destination school, which these are things he was saying, then again, that extension doesn't exactly make sense unless you think he's just doing a fantastic job. And maybe the bowl game was enough to where you're like, you know what? Yeah, we'll give it to you now. I'm not going to fault too much until I know how next season really goes. But it is interesting because then you go look at the NFL Combine this year. 2 guys is all Nebraska pulled off. And again, this is a school that blue blood.
Yeah.
That is getting harder and harder to say as these years go on when you only have Deshaun Singleton and Emmett Johnson. Which, on a side note, were you surprised it was only those 2 that got invites?
A little bit.
I thought like Rocco Spindler even.
Yeah.
We had some guys where obviously the Notre Dame transfer who had a phenomenal season at Notre Dame and even at Nebraska was still one of our leaders and was one of the guys that was way more consistent on that offensive line.
Yeah, I'm curious just how much. I mean, there's so many people that are watching, college football and deciding who gets to go to the NFL Combine. And I'm curious if just Nebraska is not like crazy high on their radar. And so if there's a guy from, let's say Alabama or Georgia with a similar skill level to someone at Nebraska, they're going to take the guy from Alabama or the guy from Georgia or something like that.
Yeah, and you're probably way more right than they are because Nebraska football, once they get to the end of the season, they just put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And that's the part for Matt Rule that's not all his fault, but it's brutal because he's kind of holding the responsibility of he hasn't lost to Iowa. Oh, I can't remember what the number is now. It's unreal. Yeah. We've only won 1 out of the X, double digits. We know it's that bad, but he's getting the baggage of losing all those other games when he wasn't here because people are still living with those moments and just kind of completely falling apart late in the season. And that's the part where he's just got to be better. The team's got to be better. Easier said than done. But when you got a team like Iowa as well, a rival, I mean, that one's always going to hurt more. I say it all the time. That's how Mickey Joseph was the serious conversation. People loved Bill Bush because they beat Iowa the last 2 to do it. And then I think ironically enough, the other time we beat him was another time the head coach got fired and we had an interim with Bo Pelini. Yeah. So maybe we just need to go get an interim guy to fix all our problems. But that is kind of the drum on the Bill Moose. You guys can definitely go read it. There's a lot in there. Obviously, it's his perspective, everything that went down there. But to your point, it was kind of cool. You don't normally get to see the door open up like that.
It's good content, especially, as Husker fans, I feel like we're so invested in everything that goes on. And, I mean, 99% of this Husker fans had no clue what was going on during that Scott Frost era because I think we all expected it to be, rainbows and butterflies and everything great. And you now get to look back at it from the athletic director's point of view and go, wow, I had no clue this is what was going on. No wonder we were so bad,
Yeah, no kidding. The one win in this, though, is that this was the same crew that also managed to get Fred Hoiberg in the door.
Yeah.
And clearly that one's working out a lot better. And, it was crazy. Even took a pay cut, him and Frost both. I mean, that was a dark chapter.
Yeah.
In Nebraska athletics, when your basketball program and your football programs, head coaches take pay cuts because the product's been that bad. But then, of course, Fred Hoiberg, he deserves a ton of credit for, again, 21-3, but no one's it's 22 with that win to Rutgers.
I think 21's correct.
Yeah, 21-3.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him an extra one, but unfortunately I can't. But at the very least, Bill Moose, they did get that higher. That was a slam dunk. Took a little bit of time, but I think that was kind of expected with how far back this basketball program was. But now we are one of the better teams in the entire country. We'll throw it to break one more time. Don't go anywhere. Take a Weeknights. Harrison Arens, Tristan Gomez. Talk to you in a bit.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better-than-internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen and Stein Stamina, and more. Bach beer will be flowing, and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m. and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $10 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com. MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Flowers and chocolate are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their wide variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop. right behind Eyeglass World at 56th and O.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Tick Weeknights, Harrison Arens, Tristan Gomez. Just got a couple minutes left here. We won't take too much time, and then we'll get to Husker bowling. We got spare time, Jillian Martin, Kayla Starr, then, of course, Chris Raff. Good morning, Pierce Snell, and then Nick Wyman will take you all the way to midnight, keeping it local 18 hours a day. That is 93.7 The Ticket these days. Hard to believe. At one point, they would have a show for like 2 hours in the morning, and then they would take a gap and then come back at 3 and have like another 2-hour show. Then it was all national. It's crazy to think the growth that this place has had. But let's finish up with some Winter Olympics. Right now, the medal count is no surprise there. Norway currently leading it. They have 7 golds, 2 silvers, 3 bronze. United States is sitting at 4th with 4 golds, 6 silvers, 2 bronze. And then Italy at 3rd with 4 golds, 2 silvers, in 7 bronze. Today, I do believe that, well, not today, it's over. Well, tomorrow you'll get to watch some more. But tomorrow they do got the alpine skiing. They also have bobsleigh, cross country skiing, and it is a medaling event tomorrow for cross country skiing, curling as well. You get a medaling in freestyle skiing, matches in ice hockey, medaling event in the luge, and then the Nordic Combine. I haven't watched that one yet. They have nothing on tomorrow. That one won't start having medals to 17 or 19, but that one's insane. It's where they're hiking and then they're skiing.
Oh, yeah.
All in one. It's a new one. They just added it this year. And then, of course, you have the skeleton. Ski jumping, they're still practicing. So you won't, well, they have a couple practice. You won't see anything there. And then you get 2 more medaling events, snowboard and then speed skating. Which ones are your favorite? Like Winter Olympic events, or do you have any?
Yeah, I definitely have a few. I think the ski jump is so cool.
Would you do it?
I've always wanted to. I bet there's definitely places in Colorado, like as just a normal person, you can go and you can ski jump. I'm not going very far, but I watch them and I just think like, yeah, you just go and then you put your legs into the V and then you just fly, which is probably way harder than said than done, or easier said than done. But yeah, that one's always super cool. And then my favorite, I think, Winter Olympics movie, hot take, is Cool Runnings. Have you seen Cool Runnings? It's about the Jamaican bobsled team.
No.
Okay, love that. Obviously, Miracle is just a classic, and everyone loves Miracle. But Cool Runnings, what a film! It's about the Jamaican bobsled team, and it's super cool.
I gotta watch that one later.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
A sledding or a bobsledding movie. That's gotta be incredible. That event in itself is insane.
And they're freak athletes. Yeah. Like unbelievable. In every Winter Olympic sport, they're freak athletes. But it's cool to see that most your friends growing up, all my friends growing up, we played baseball, we played basketball, we played football. I don't have a friend who was just an unbelievable bobsledder or anything like that.
Well, it's interesting too, because you wouldn't think being an athlete matters.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to it, but I don't know physics apparently, because I think let's just get some 300 pounders.
Yeah.
Put some weight on that bad boy.
Yeah,
that thing will be flying
Yeah.
down there. But there's actually a lot of technique into it, and it's like the tiniest subtle movements that they have to make. The other one, skeleton. That's my
Terrifying.
favorite. I can't believe people do that. Do you know how fast they're going on the skeleton?
I do not.
Take a swing at it.
Like 80 miles an hour?
It's like 80 to 90. Sometimes they get close to 100.
That is terrifying. That's like going down. That's like going down I-80, and you're just skeleton. You're just there laying down. Oh, that is terrifying.
I don't even go that fast when I'm on interstate. You
No,
know?
no. Imagine you just see one of them just sliding right next to you. That'd be awesome.
No, that one's always my favorite, because I just think like the people that have the gumption to
How do
go
you get
at
into it? Yeah.
Did you have those things at gym classes, like in school, like the little scooters?
Yeah. If
like,
you like that rolled over your.
oh yeah,
fingers,
there's like hurts like hell.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they get a lot of they like dominate in school gym like
Yeah.
that, and they're like, I'm pretty good. I have no idea.
And they're just flying back and forth. Yeah.
Like, I have no idea how you get into it, but I will always be a fan of tuning in and watching it, because there's something about the Winter Olympics where it seems a little bit more adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Where Winter Olympics is great, or Summer Olympics is great too, and you certainly have some of those events, but like the snowboarding, the ski jump,
The
like
ski jump.
that
You're
one's
going
insane.
down a mountain as fast as you can on skis. Yeah.
There's just a lot of adrenaline going on with those, but it's still going on. We still got quite a bit. 10 more days, in fact. It wraps up on the 22nd. That will be the final ceremony event. We got plenty of medal events. A lot of these are pretty much just straight medaling events, except for curling. They're kind of back into it. They'll be in rounds all the way till 19th, and they won't start medaling till 20 and 21st. So that being said, we'll get out of here. Husker bowling coming up next. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Appreciate everybody listening. Don't go anywhere. We'll be here till midnight.